It's Tuesday, February 19. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The Ministry of Health is reporting a growing number of visits to accident and emergency units at public hospitals for suspected dengue, gastroenteritis, and flu-like or upper respiratory illness. At the same time, the ministry in a release yesterday said children with symptoms of these conditions can now access the University Hospital of the West Indies for assessment and treatment. Those aged 12 years and younger will access those services free of cost until further notice. And to help accommodate more patients, several health centers across the island have extended their opening hours. These include Nannyville Health Center, Olympic Gardens Health Center, Glen Vincent Health Center, Slipen Road Comprehensive, Stony Hill Health Center, and the Duane Park Health Center. Health centers in the following parishes have also continued to extend their opening hours up to 8 p.m. Those include the St. Jago Park Health Center in St. Catherine, in St. Anne, St. Anne's Bay Health Center, in Manchester, Spalding Health Center, in St. Mary, Onoto Bay, Highgate, and Rockabessa Health Centers, and St. Thomas's Morant Bay Health Center. The Montego Bay Type V Health Center in St. James is now open 7 days per week. The parliamentary opposition is calling for Energy Minister Fayval Williams to update the nation on the implementation of recommendations by the Petroleum Trade Reform Committee, which investigated the release of bad gas to the retail trade in 2015. In a statement on Monday, opposition spokesman on energy Philip Paulwell expressed surprise at news reports of the possible existence of more bad gas in the petroleum retail sector. He said the cabinet had accepted the report from the PRTC on August 22, 2016 and agreed to implement the recommendations. A lack of consequence for procurement breaches is one of the reasons for the Petrojam debacle. That's according to the National Integrity Action Executive Director, Professor Trevor Monroe. The state-run entity has been mired in controversy and scandal since last year, which resulted in resignation of the then Portfolio Minister, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, and upper managerial members. A report from the Auditor General late last year uncovered several procurement breaches and misuse of funds at Petrojam. Professor Monroe weighed in on the matter.
Let us recall that the first Auditor General's report identifying serious breaches at Petrojam was in December 2007, and the last report, December 2018. Hence, we have had a number of breaches repeated over and over with no consequences. What Petrojam revealed over the last 10 years is repeated malfunctions in respect of procurement with no consequences. Why should any new board, senior manager, put themselves to the trouble of obeying procurement rules if they know breaching them have no consequences?
He spoke of the urgent need of the Regulations of Procurement Act to address the issues.
In respect of law reform, 4 or 5 of the bits of legislation which were they to be reformed and applied would ensure that we don't have the same recurrence in the next 11 years. Firstly, the matter that we discussed, the regulations for the Procurement Act. And I'm glad that in the Governor General's speech he mentioned that the regulations for the major organized crime anti-corruption agency, those are going to be completed. I believe, however, that this matter is of considerable urgency.
Professor Monroe was speaking last Friday at the Justice Ministry's third quarter press briefing. $35 million has been allocated to a project to increase Jamaica's post's ability to control and improve mail processing and handling. This is outlined in the government's 2019-2020 estimates of expenditure, now before the House of Representatives. The project is being implemented by the Ministry of Science, Energy, and Technology through funding by the Universal Postal Union. It includes procurement and delivery of computer equipment and furniture to post offices island-wide, installing and testing computer equipment, conducting training sessions with post office personnel, and the launch of the International Postal System, the IPS. A young man accused of stealing a large quantity of medical supplies from the Kingston Public Hospital was remanded in custody after the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court was informed that a voice note was found on his phone in which he was reportedly heard giving instruction for a policeman to be killed. The accused, Kamar Samuels, who's 27 years old, and his mother, Joy Brown, a patient care assistant at the hospital, were both arrested after police raided their home in Manly Meadows, Kingston, on January 14. The police allegedly found the items, which included a box of examination gloves, gauze, cotton, urine bags, and paper towels. Both were subsequently arrested and charged with simple larceny. Attorney Peter Champagny indicated his intent to apply for bail for Samuels, but this was strongly opposed by the prosecution. Champagny told the judge that it was the first time he was hearing anything about his client giving an order via a voice note. Samuels was remanded while his mother's bail was extended. The government has budgeted $1 billion to acquire motor vehicles and motorcycles for the Jamaica Constabulary Force in the 2019-2020 fiscal year. The project aims to improve the mobility of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and will be implemented by the Ministry of National Security. Details are provided in the 2019-2020 estimates of expenditure, now before the House of Representatives. The US dollar on Monday, February 18, ended trading at Jamaican $133.60, down by 48 cents. That's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily foreign exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar ended trading at Jamaican $101.21, down from Jamaican $101.28, while the British pound sterling ended trading at Jamaican $172.40, up from Jamaican $171.77. In regional news, in Dominica, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt has named 9 women, including his wife Melissa, in a virtual new slate of candidates as the ruling Dominica Labour Party seeks to maintain power in the upcoming 2020 general election. Addressing the DLP Special Delegates Conference on Londonderry on Sunday, Skerritt dropped a number of senior ministers in his change team for these changing times.
We were fortunate as a party in government to have had a group of youngsters, men and women, who stepped forward in 2000, 2005, 2009, and 2014 to serve their country. They have done a tremendous job under the circumstances and against a backdrop of enormous adversity. Many still have a bit more to give, but we have determined that 2020 is the point at which we seek to prepare ourselves for a new dispensation of government and governance in Dominica.
He defended the decision to include his wife, who will contest the Roseau Central seat that has been won by Joseph Isaac on a UWP ticket in the last general election.
Melissa has juggled being the doting mother of our children with providing mentorship, education, and employment opportunities to many of the young women in her constituency over the years. Her innovative approach to helping others is a skill that the Dominica Labour Party and the people of the Rosa Central welcome as we remain focused on the goal to take Dominica to the next level in its development. Ladies and gentlemen, the people have asked for her, and here she is, the candidate for the Dominica Labour Party in the Rosa Central constituency, my dear wife, Minister Starrick. Ladies and gentlemen.
In Cuba, last Sunday, Cuba conducted a dynamic test in order to guarantee full success in the upcoming referendum slated for February 24. Here's more in this report from Richard Richards.
Sunday last, a dynamic test was carried throughout Cuba in order to guarantee full success of the popular referendum that will take place the next 24th of February and in which more than 8 million Cubans are engaged in answering yes or no for the approval of Cuba's new constitutional text. More than 25 polling stations were activated in the provinces of Cienfuegos, Santiago de Cuba, Villa Clara, Camagüey, Isla de la Juventud, Pinar del Río, Matanzas, and Havana, so as to check all material and human resources, including the medias and computers. Likewise, an immediate exercise was at hand so as to supervise electoral structures at all stages, from the hinterlands and municipal voting offices up to the National Electoral Committee. The dynamic exercises facing the future popular constitutional referendum in Cuba that will take place next Sunday included works under simulated situations like the method of processing, scrutiny, the procedure of the results from the high electoral schools to the districts and vice versa. So Cuba is prepared technically, social and politically to say yes or no to the new constitutional text that was previously ratified by the National Assembly after thorough consultation with the Cuban people living in the country or abroad and whose opinions were taken into consideration, and as a result, a group of modifications were made to the original text. Direct from Cuba, Richard Richards, Canal Caribe.
In sports, West Indies captain Stephanie Taylor, along with the new ball pair of Shakira Selman and Shamila Connell, have made important strides in the latest ICC Women's One-Day rankings, released Monday. Taylor has risen 2 places in the batting rankings to 8th, following her 158 runs at an average of 52 in the Windies' just concluded 3-match series against Pakistan in Dubai. Shemaine Campbell was the other Windies player to enjoy positive movement in the rankings, gaining 2 places to move 52nd. In the bowlers' rankings, Seema Selman rose 8 spots to 26th after picking up 4 wickets against Pakistan, while her new ball partner Connell rose 6 places to 49th, following a similar 4-wicket series haul. And that's the news on PBCJ. Do remember, PBCJ is the people's station.